a student at Fairland Elementary School in Walker County, Georgia. In this presentation, you will learn about Anne Frank, who is, in my opinion, one of the greatest writers of all time. Today, you will learn about Anne Frank's youth, the occurrences happening during her life, and what it was like withholding herself from the outside world during World War II. How about we go on to Anne Frank's girlhood? Anne Frank was a girl with a childhood full of memories, as shown here, where she was playing with other kids when she was little, concealed by a lifelong diary. Anne Frank was born on June 12, 1929, in Frankfurt, Germany. She was a rebellious girl and always got in trouble for talking during class. She had two best friends, Hannah and Sana. It was no doubt they were meant to be together. When Anne was 12 years old, she and her sister had to go to a school for Jews only. I will talk more about this later. Even though Anne was not allowed to do certain things and go certain places, she was still able to write. When things became bad, her diary was her spot of peace. After the war, that book of childhood memories was published into an actual book. Anne Frank lived through many world-changing historical events. During the time that Anne Frank lived, many things were happening in Europe. Adolf Hitler had become the leader of Germany. He blamed many different types of people for losing World War I. The people Hitler blamed started being attacked. These attacks are one of the things that started World War II. As seen here, this is a bombed-out building somewhere in Europe during World War II. When Anne was living in Amsterdam, Jews started being deported. When a person was deported, they got a list of things to pack. According to the book, When We Flew Away, the things had to be packed in a suitcase, which would later be stolen from them. Anne's own sister, Margot Frank, got a letter about being deported. This is one of the two reasons why the Frank family hid in the secret annex. Anne was 15 when Japan bombed Pearl Harbor. It was when the United States entered the war. She also lived through most of the Holocaust, a time when Jews in Europe were being killed just because they were Jewish. This is the other reason why the Frank family went into hiding. Hide and seek may be fun, but what about hiding for months, or maybe even years? As I said earlier, Anne was a Jewish girl who was born in Germany, a bad combination at the time. When Margot Frank received a letter about deportation, the Frank family went into hiding. Otto Frank, Anne's father, had been preparing a place to hide in case the time came. Well, this was that time. The Franks fled their apartment early in the morning and went to a warehouse. As seen in this picture, this is the place where they hid. There was a part of it that had been turned into a hiding spot for the Frank family. They could not flush the toilet or even run water at certain times. Soon after they had gone into hiding, the family welcomed 4 other people into the annex. A family of 3 and an older man who shared a room with Anne. It was pretty cramped in the annex, and everyone annoyed each other, but they made it work. The Van Pels family was the only other family with a kid in the annex. Peter Van Pels was a shy, quiet boy. His mother, Auguste Van Pels, had a big personality and an even bigger temper. On the other hand, Herman Van Pels, Auguste Van Pels' husband, was a funny man who sometimes doubted himself. Another person in hiding was Fritz Pfeffer. He shared a room with Anne and thought that his language studies was far more important than her writing. Also, there was Margot, Anne, Otto, and Edith Frank. All 8 of these people hid in the cramped, stuffy annex until they were all found, separated, and shipped off to concentration camps. Everyone from the annex died except for Otto Frank, Anne's father. When the war ended, he went back to the annex to find Anne's diary, which she had written in almost every day in the annex. After he read it, he decided to make Anne's fantasy come true. Her diary, full of childhood memories, is now a well-known book called The Secret Annex and has sold over 30 million copies to this day. You were an amazing audience today while learning about Anne Frank's childhood, the difficult times she lived through, and her days in hiding. I hope that you all grasp a little more about Anne Frank. Thank you.